Hey guys, it's Carrie.
This is Joe.
And this is Los Pinches Niños.
And today we are here with a very super special episode. We just got back from watching the new Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. And guys, let me tell you what. This is the one. Alright? Broly. Tell your friends. Alright? Carrie, go and let them know what they need to know.
Spoiler alert. This is a spoiler video. Alright? If you haven't seen the movie, turn it off. Go see the movie, come back, watch the video. Okay, so we're going to go over the movie. Let's see. Yeah, it's awesome, okay? The movie is spectacular. It's one of the best movies I've seen, period. Okay?
Yeah.
Movies, not even anime movies. Movies. This was awesome, okay? A lot of great things going for it. And, you know, wow. This thing was amazing. Wow.
Yeah, I would easily say, I mean, it's been 1.5 years, pretty much, give or take, since we've had the last episode of Dragon Ball Super. I would gladly go another 2 years without any new Dragon Ball material if we got another movie like this. Like, it's hands down, I don't even care. Like, if everything time-wise came out like that, I'd be fine with it. It doesn't have to be weekly. I'd take all of it in a little bit of a chunk. It was that good. I haven't seen a movie that good in a while. Definitely no other Dragon Ball movie even comes close. Like, they're not even the same ballpark. They're not even the same fucking sport. Like, it was phenomenal. Hands down.
Before Broly's character was boring, he is no longer boring at all.
Multi-dimensional. He was very one note.
He was very one note. Now he has a lot of good things going for him. Let's go over some stuff about the movie real quick. Okay, so as you have said before, it paid a lot of respect to Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and we're gonna go through the reasons why we think it did.
I mean, even the first 2 minutes. So the first 2 minutes is kind of a little bit of backdrop. I guess for people who haven't seen the whole story, which is nice. Like, I didn't necessarily need it, but even the first 2-3 minutes, you get to see the Ginyu Force. You get to see the Ginyu Force, get to see their dance, Teen Frieza, King Cold, everything that from the Frieza saga to the Cell saga. I mean, just everything, just from the get-go, was already just kind of like a trip down memory lane for me. And it kept up the whole movie the whole time.
Yeah. A lot of great things, man. You know, I went through all Dragon Ball as a very, very young kid, and then went through Dragon Ball Z as a young kid as well. But I remember more Dragon Ball Z than I do Dragon Ball. Yeah. And, man, this thing just brought up some great stuff, you know. Man, there's not much I can say about it. Just otherwise, it's awesome. It's amazing.
No, I mean, they had the fusion. They had the fusion, and you had the whole little moment with Fat Gogeta and like Skinny Gogeta, like especially when like Trunks and Goten messed the fusions up. Like, there were just so many small moments that kept you connected to your roots. Like, this was Battle of the Gods, Resurrection F. Like, they were really good DBZ movies to get you hyped for Super. This was a movie made for the fans, man. Like, this movie was made for people who grew up on this shit. Like, it was just, I mean, I'm gonna go watch it again next week. Like, I'm sure there's stuff that I missed. I'm sure, like, I was caught up in so many things. Like, I gotta go watch it again just to make sure I saw everything.
Yeah, and it definitely deserves a second look. And I don't say that about many movies. Okay, the last movie I said that about was Interstellar.
That one wasn't close.
Yeah, but I love it, and that's the last movie I've said about. And this deserves it in every single way. And again, I'm biased. I don't care. Let's go over some stuff right now about Bardock that I want to talk about really badly.
First off, he's canon. His backstory is canon. Well, he was canon.
He has to be canon. He's the father.
He was canon, but the backstory is canon.
A lot of his backstory wasn't really solidified in the canon. So let's talk about what is canon now. So some things people might have missed is that one, I think, the mother, you get to see the mother of Goku now. That's pretty great.
What was her?
Is like Gene.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
no.
Gene or something like that. But it's I thought it was Gene before the movie, but again, I'm stupid.
All right. But they never.
Yeah. Anyway, Bardock's awesome. He is more of a fatherly figure in here than he is a warrior, unlike the original movie, which is good. It's really good. One thing I noticed that a lot of people might not notice is that when Frieza is, doing his little supernova thing down
Giant death ball.
towards Planet Vegeta.
Yeah.
You see this little, it has to be like a second and a half maybe, of Bardock really beaten up. But you didn't get to see why he got beaten up, and that's honestly because I believe the original movie, that core part of it is now canon. So when he gets, struck by that alien, it has these memory problems and all these stuff going through his mind and all that stuff, his crew getting slaughtered. I think that's canon now because of the way you see him, because it just skips to that.
It looked, man, even the
Yeah.
death ball, like
It
the
looks
whole
like it, yeah.
whole thing looks frame for frame.
And I was scared they were going to skip it. I was scared.
It looks
Yeah.
the exact same as what you saw the first time Planet Vegeta got blown up. Like, it definitely was. I would almost, cleaned up a little bit, but I would almost say that it was frame for frame the exact same thing we've all grown up knowing, which is good.
Yeah.
Like I said, it made it, Bardock, his backstory is canon. It's really great. Like, obviously, the movie's about Broly. Broly's canon now. They kept Paragus, which was fantastic, I thought. They kept a little bit of the backstory.
Except this time, Paragus doesn't die by Broly's hands. He dies by Frieza's hands.
Yeah, Frieza's
which is much better, by the way.
It was
spectacular.
It was great for them to involve Frieza the way that it did. I thought it was a really nice little twist. But yeah, Paragus was in it, which is good. They kept that part of it. They kept a lot of Broly's character. Obviously, Gogeta is now canon as well.
Which, to be honest, is much better than Vegito, and people are going to hate me for that, but guess what? It's true. As far as the badassness goes, okay? Of course, the Vegito has this cool, kind of quirky character. This guy is just out of this world badass. So
I would even say Gogeta has more of Vegeta's seriousness.
Yeah.
Vegito is more of Goku's goofiness.
Which
they're
is funny
both badass fighters.
You would think it'd be switched having Go in the front and V in the front of Vegito. You would think it'd be more Vegeta, but in reality, it's more Goku. It seems like.
I would definitely say that was the switch on it. But yeah, like you just had a lot of stuff from older movies that fans like that have now become canon. Toriyama did write and work on this screenplay, so it's all part of the Dragon Ball universe now, which is, just that's fantastic to see them take all this and really do as well with it as they did, and take a lot of like what we like as fans into consideration, and really giving us. We've always wanted a good Gogeta character since GT. I mean, what did the Fusion Reborn came out after GT, right?
I don't know. I don't want to say it wrong, but
yeah, but I mean,
it doesn't matter.
We don't count GT anyway, but I know those are the only two times you see the Fusion Dance Fusion.
And
those two
speaking
instances
of Toriyama, let's talk about the humor in this movie.
You can't mention them without
the humor was awesome. Now, honestly, a lot of people are going to hate it because it's not what they grew up with. If they're coming into Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super fresh into this had a lot more of some of the old school humor a little bit in there.
Dragon Ball.
Whereas Battle of the Gods really didn't, and Revenge of F didn't really either. Didn't have that same humor. One thing I like to point out is the different wishes between Bulma and Frieza are basically the same wish. Bulma gathered Dragon Balls to be 5 years younger. Frieza gathered Dragon Balls to be either 5 centimeters or 5 inches taller. It's not much.
I think it was 5 centimeters.
Yeah.
But that's just because the rest of the world actually uses the metric system, unlike us. So 5 centimeters is 5 centimeters, whatever.
Yeah.
And their whole reasoning for only being 5 instead of 10 or 15 was because they're both pretty egotistical, and they knew that people would realize that they did too much. It's like, well, if I took 10 years off, like, they would know that I got plastic surgery or something, and in all reality, I just wished for it. So it was really humorous to kind of see that. There are a lot of just really little funny moments. Like, there's one where they leave Bula with Beerus. Like, they're all going to go off and fight, and they leave a baby with the God of Destruction, which I just feel like is the worst parenting you could ever do.
Obviously.
Obviously, nothing bad's going to happen to her by anyone else, but what is Beerus gonna do while you're gone? Like, if you don't have food to feed Beerus, is he gonna like choke slam this baby into the ground? Like, I don't.
And for once in a movie, Beerus isn't there. Beerus isn't there in the entire fight. He's not. I mean, obviously, and you see in the end, he's like, everything turned out okay. That's what he says. His line is, everything turned out okay. He was watching, I guess, from afar, but he wasn't in the fight. It was Whis from the sidelines, just kind of, ooh, whatever. But let's get to something really important I want to talk about, which is kind of the big story of this movie and why it's so different, and that's the animation. The animation is brand spanking new amazing when it comes to Dragon Ball. It is honestly.
Not even Dragon Ball, man. It was.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I have never seen an animation like this.
It's awesome. Yeah, and the things I like to point out is the backgrounds. We talked about this. Even when I got lost, and I made the point also is I'm pretty sure when I got lost in the fight, they wanted me to get lost to see the background because the background was gorgeous. And we'll bring up another point in that in a second of why they wanted me to get lost, but it was spectacular. The animation was fluid, and there's a point we talked about this. There's a point where Goku starts, jumping up and down, and it's just gorgeous. And it reminded me of kind of like a Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah, you get that little hop ready to go.
Then you see, them make the stance, right? And then Broly makes his stance, and then.
No, I didn't even think, but no, it did have a very weird Enter the Dragon Bruce Lee vibe to it for sure. I didn't even think about that. I mean, it got me hyped. Like, it got me really hyped when that's because you knew what was about to go down. No, I mean, kicking off the animation stuff, like just the choices of where they fought, like the first fights in Antarctica, pretty much, and just the visual representation of seeing like the ice breaking apart and the snow flowing and. All the little details. Like, the fights were clean, the fight was good, but the water specks and water fights, you could just see it all floating. It was the attention to the small detail. Like, they might have wanted you to get lost. I just found myself getting lost in the background. Like, I knew there was a fight going on, but I knew it was just a bunch of punches. Like, I had never seen a background look so fluid and so beautiful. Like, it was just... so pristinely done. It was, I mean, could you really, what did it feel like? I mean, like, what's the closest thing you could say?
It was perfect. It was perfect, okay?
I mean, more of an analogy. Like, perfect is yes, but I mean, what do we...
It was astonishing. What do we say? I have plenty of words for it. It was great. It was amazing. It was astonishing. It was perfect. Perfect. Which brings me to my next point. The music, which honestly was pretty on par. It was awesome. It felt like I was playing a fighting game. It felt like I was playing Dragon Ball FighterZ.
The Bruce Lee part. Like, he starts hopping, and you hear the beat start going, and as soon as they go, man, like, the beat drops, and you're just like, all right, this is about to get epic.
And there's a point where it's like, it says, Broly, Goku, and I'm pretty sure at one point it said, fight! And I just felt, I was like,
I didn't hear the fight. I think I heard a Kamehameha in there at one point in one of the songs. Definitely heard Gogeta on the back end of it.
You're like, Gogeta. I'm like,
go! Like, it was very subtle. Like, I honestly wish there was a place that I could get the music.
I'm sure there will be.
I hope so. But I honestly would like a place where I could get the music without the rest of the noise, because I just found myself a lot of times trying to figure out what was being said. It was very subtle, but I mean, it definitely brought up the value and the hype of what was going on, but it was one of those that I really just, my mind was still kind of on it with everything else. Like, I mean, like, while the animation's beautiful, like, I'm kind of sitting here, like, listening to the music, like, what did they just say? Like, everything about this movie, point A to point B, was phenomenal. And the music was just another part of it, along with the animation style. Like, everything worked cohesively and seamless, and... like I said, I wish I could just get the soundtrack and just listen to that so I actually knew what the fuck they were saying. Yeah, because it was really entertaining.
I will be buying the special edition of this movie, which, again, I don't do much of. And I'm
Pre-order.
hoping this comes with the soundtrack, honestly. So, next thing we want to talk about. Really important in this movie, which he brought up this, and I didn't really think about it until I really kind of timed it out in my mind, is that you see the... and I know this is brand new, but stay with me. The Super Saiyan God form, you see brand new with Vegeta.
Yeah.
But you see it a lot more in this movie, and you brought up this point, than pretty much everything else, especially in the series Super. Now, I said in the original Battle of the Gods, you see it pretty similar in the fight with Beerus, but this is really, you can see that this form is awesome. It's more than, it looks a lot better than I think it did in Battle of the Gods.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, in Battle of the Gods, like, they had to have it because the whole reason Beerus went and found them was to find the Super Saiyan God. This one, they already had Super Saiyan Blue. Like, Goku could have gone Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken, right? Like, they already had things that kind of semi-surpassed that, but for it to get much screen time, I was waiting. I was waiting for it to happen. I thought, were they gonna do it as Gogeta? Like, can they do it as Gogeta? Can
Honestly,
he be? I don't. Okay, that's
I was
not
caught
even.
up. I was caught up in the flashes of Ultra Instinct. I was caught up in other stuff that I forgot about.
I was okay, yeah. But again, I do think that you get more of a clear-cut representation of Super Saiyan God in this film than you do in anything else that has been made. You don't see it nearly as much in all of Super. It being the main point behind Battle of the Gods, you're gonna see it, but I would say the screen time comparatively is pretty close, and Vegeta rocks it this time. And
Vegeta looks great
in
Super
the
Saiyan
red.
God form. Spectacular. All right, so let's go over some stuff we saw, and I want to get over. I actually want to skip our itinerary here. I'm going to go over another point. During the end of the movie, the end credits scene, Joey looked over to me and wanted to tell me his favorite part of the movie, and I said, whoa, stop. Before you say it, let me say mine, and keep yours in your head. And this wasn't me just being selfish. I wanted to see if they were the same. Turns out, they were the exact same.
Yeah.
There's this moment in the fight with Broly and Goku where it goes first-person mode in Broly's view, fighting Goku. It just kind of swings over in the camera, and he just bam! And then it's like you're fighting Goku as Broly, and wow, that is awesome, because you would figure it'd be the other way around. You figure you're fighting Broly, but no, you're Broly fighting Goku. That was awesome.
I mean, not even that. Like, I
awesome.
can't even name any type of anime film, any anime or anything that I've seen in this context that has done that first person point of view. Aside from it being, do you do it from Goku or Broly's perspective? There's not a lot or any that I can personally think of right now that did that. So it was a really cool. The one thing I did love is they didn't overkill it. It was
15 seconds.
15, 20 seconds max. Like, he punches Goku into this ice wall, he makes a hole, and all you see is, like, Broly's view of flying into the hole and just punching the shit out of Goku. And it was just a really nice little subtle text that they put in there that, I mean, it was a really cool moment. Like, kind of gave you, like, the feeling that you were fighting, you know what I mean? Like, as stupid as it sounds, like,
no.
you know, but, like, it's almost like you were fighting Goku for half a second, you know, and it really, just another little thing that just really amped this movie up to another place.
And I'm almost as hyped as the next thing as that, but...
Yeah, this is what I thought you were talking about. I thought you were talking about when it happened in the movie, and I turned over and I was like, what the fuck was that?
There's this point where Broly is starting to kick a little butt, and I think it's Goku in his Super Saiyan God form. In the red form, I believe.
Yeah,
it's that.
no, it was.
Yeah, it definitely was. I remember the aura. But basically, Broly's coming from above like this. Goku's down here. He's coming from above, and Broly just freezes right there.
Does this weird.
And Goku's just doing this weird little thing, and wow, that was awesome. Because again, I guess I had pointed out to you in the parking lot, is that something Whis would do, right? That's something, we would see Whis do, and, we've seen it in little bits and parts in Dragon Ball, but nothing quite like this.
Yeah, only Guldo that one time. Not the time stop, but where he froze everybody in place with the... But that's the only thing...
And Frieza has his little telekinesis stuff. It's similar, but it's not this... This is different.
Yeah.
Goku just, boom, right there. And I was like, whoa.
It was
whoa.
bonkers. It was... I looked at it, I was like...
That's cool. Like, that's something like, I bet you was going to use that for Vegeta, right? Yeah, so... Too bad, buddy.
And then, the crazy part, too, was, like, you show it, like, Broly kind of grew up on a planet all by himself, like, fighting monsters. So this is the first time he's ever actually fought things. Like, Vegeta was like, man, he's, like, learning how to fight on the fly.
Yeah.
Goku hits him with that move, he breaks out of it, and then he puts Goku in the same move, and then just pummels his face into the dirt. Like, it was just instantaneous. Like, Goku whips out this thing I've never seen him do before. Which is fantastic for the movie that they're still kind of continually updating Goku and Vegeta's arsenals. Like, it's not just the same old Kamehameha wave, instant transmission. Like, they're in there. But, like, this new stuff, I mean, that was the big one. That was really the big kicker for me. They had that weird... It's like a one little moment. I noticed it. I thought it was cool. Like, Broly tried to hit him with a Kai Blast, and he did, like, this weird, like, barrier projectile reflection thing that I've never seen. Correct me if I'm wrong on it.
I'm pretty sure that's the moment where I took my glasses off in the theater and just had to sit back and realize what I was watching. It was a good 10 seconds where I had to sit back and take a breath
It was like a,
put him back on.
It was a 1 second
there we go.
snippet, but I just like it because it wasn't the general like bounce back. You know what I mean? It was there was a whole line of energy that I was like, to me it was just really cool because I've never seen anything quite like that. And they had that weird Super Saiyan God like Rasengan thing Goku almost blasted him with, which I mean like Naruto-ish, but again something new we haven't seen from the main characters, which is good because they're continually to develop, which ties back into the ending of the movie. We'll get on that one later, but it just kind of continually shows that improvement that they keep hitting on, which is fantastic.
And let's go over Frieza real quick. So, two things I want to point out. One, I'm going to go over the lesser first and the greater next. Lesser. Frieza lasted 1 hour with Broly. 1 hour. That's impressive. Okay, considering everything else, and I don't know how time went with the rest of Vegeta fight, the Vegeta fighting Broly and Goku fighting Broly, but Frieza lasted 1 hour, and that's a fact. That's fact, because there's 2 30-minute sessions of fusions.
Failed fusions,
correct. Fusions nonetheless. 2, okay? The greater one of the two is that Frieza had this thought in his head, is what did I do to make Goku snap originally? He killed Krillin. Okay? Well, he had that flash, so he turned to Paragus, who's sitting there like just awing at his son, and says, huh. And blasts him through his chest, and then has the audacity to turn to Broly and say, Broly, look at this!
Look what he done!
And I was like, oh my god, Frieza is perfect. Frieza is perfect.
He threw him right under the bus.
He is the perfect specimen of a just bitch.
Well, I mean, to be honest, Frieza did, after he kind of threw everybody else under the bus, he did get it thrown back at him. One of my little favorite moments with it is like, after Broly snaps, he becomes just like an unstoppable killing machine. Vegeta and Goku fly right by Frieza, and it's literally like a World of Warcraft like aggro mechanic.
What did he say? What did Goku say?
He was like, "Have fun, Frieza!" Like
have fun,
something.
Frieza.
They just flew by, and Broly
instant transmission
like,
off while Frieza had to deal.
Popped
with
up around the corner, and then the next thing Broly saw was Frieza, and just started going to town. I also really enjoyed the little moment. There was like a big energy blast, and Paragus is like, Paragus is here, Frieza's here. And Frieza could have put a shield around both of them. But Frieza's a bitch and he didn't. So Frieza just put a shield around himself and Paragus got blasted back into the the backwoods or whatever. And I laughed for like a minute on that one. Because I was like, really, dude? Like,
there's also a point in the beginning where Broly starts getting his butt whooped by Vegeta a little bit. And Paragus thinks it's over. Paragus is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe King Vegeta's son has done this. And has exceeded this far. And Frieza was like, well, he's only ever trained with you, and with your power level, you're pretty much nothing. And I'm just like, wow, just demasculate a guy right in front of him. Okay.
He's not wrong.
Awesome.
Like,
sweet. Frieza, honestly, you're perfect. Love you, buddy.
But I mean, overall, it was really interesting from everything. How many Broly movies have they had in the past? Like 4? 3 or 4?
It's 3 technically. So the first, which we all know, the second's the second coming, where Goku's not even in it till the very end, and then Bio Broly, where no one's in it but the kids and Krillin, which is, I think, rated one of the worst anime movies ever created. Bio Broly.
No, I believe it, but it was just really, cool to see a Broly movie that had kind of Frieza as a catalyst. Like to me personally, I think that means Frieza's not going anywhere. Like, I don't think that Frieza was kind of a main component in the past 2 movies that we've gotten, a really big component of the Tournament of Power. Like, to me, those types of things, like, I don't think Frieza's going anywhere soon, and to bring him up, like, the whole name is Broly. Like, the last person I honestly expected to see in this fucking movie was Frieza, and I got to see regular Frieza, and then, like, little teen, like, emo kid punk Frieza when he first gets the Frieza Force. Like, it was... Which I don't think... Have you ever seen Frieza in that young capacity?
No,
in
it was
canon?
cool.
It was an interesting moment, for sure. But I just, to me, personally, I hate Frieza, but at the same time, I love him as a character for everything he is in